While they do that, anyone who is looking at the statues, just tell me what statue you're looking at, and then roll investigation.
I'm looking at the one that I'm standing right in front of me. Yeah.
Okay. They are 1 to 5 left to right. So you are looking at 5. Ataraxia is looking at 5.
You said to roll investigation?
Yes.
Oh, no.
Oh,
let's go.
Okay, the 5th statue.
Investigation.
Both the statue and the plaque are destroyed beyond recognition. But it looks like someone particularly intelligent could attempt to mentally reconstruct what this statue once was. A 14 is not high enough to do so. And then, what is it? Calyx rolled an 18 for the 4th statue.
This one still has its plaque, and the whole statue is A-okay.
You're absolutely correct. The statue shows a male elf approximately 250 years old, with burned and destroyed clothes. The plaque reads, Ashenvale the Last, only known survivor of the Elven Kingdom after the invasion, and world-renowned magical prodigy. Swore vengeance against the Star Scourge for what it did to his home, and single-handedly defended the right flank of the Unified Nation forces in the final battle. Was known for his outrage at the enemy's retreat, and swore to chase them to the ends of creation, before being stopped forcibly by the Dragon Corps afterwards. Shortly after, he vanished, leaving behind only an apology. States the following. I'm sorry for my failures in protecting my people. I should have anticipated the enemy's existence, or the world's capacity for defense. What a fool I was for assuming that all I had gained was enough. It's all my fault. But I swear, if it takes the moving of a mountain or destruction of the stars, I will gain what I lack. And when the day comes that those monsters return, I will instill in them the one thing they lack: fear. Birth, 12,250. Death, scratched out, and instead written, 1 day after the destruction of those dogs, and not a day sooner.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'm glad that was all written out.
Okay.
I hope someone wrote that down.
I did. I don't know if you could hear me typing up a storm as fast as I possibly could.
Who wants to go next?
I will investigate this one. Or not.
11. And that is
Or not.
that is the 3rd statue? Yes. This statue has a plaque labeled Sword King Xander. This statue shows a male human wielding 2 magical greatswords. The swords appear to be coated in blood via a magical illusion, and the man boasts an ear-to-ear smile. The plaque reads, Sword King Xander, the greatest human swordsman to ever live, survived by his 3 sons. He led the human forces into the final battle of the Starscourge invasion, and died while simultaneously killing one of the enemy generals and covering his men's retreat. Born 12,470, died at 12,500. At the final battle.
He was 30 and had 3 sons?
Wait, what were the years? Sorry.
Born 12,470, died 12,500. He was 30 years old. Yes, he had 3 sons.
Can I take a picture of the statue?
No, but you could write down what I just said.
Oh, damn, Brontes. Damn, Brontes.
Brontes, and you were doing the 2nd statue?
Yes, I am.
Which is... Oh, okay. This statue shows what appears to be a silver dragon, captured proudly mid-roar. The plaque reads, Argos, the general's right hand, sworn protector of justice and leader of the metallic dragon corps, alongside Scaleshine the Gold, KIA, and Cinderhorn, the bronze king, MIA. Where birth and death would be shown, it shows birth, 12,300, death, it only reads, failure to protect who you love is worse than death. Oh, god damn it. Okay, it doesn't say that. It says something you can't read in Draconic. It appears like the death is intentionally scratched out, and then with what appears to be some kind of claw, something in Draconic is written, scratched into the stone. You don't know what it says.
You forgot that I wasn't the
Hey,
one reading.
Sai.
I may have mistaken the two statues you guys were in front of, yes.
Hey, Sai, you want to read that?
Hey, Zach, you want to quick walk over there and read that last line?
Okay.
You want to trade?
Okay,
I'm
so
trading. Let's trade.
you walk over, you read that last line. It says, failure to protect who you love is worse than death. Written in Draconic. That's it. That's the rest of the statue. I got a lot of
We're doing
words here.
great.
Okay, then I'll read mine, I
Yours?
guess. Yeah, wait. I'll go back.
3 hops this time.
Okay. This statue is of what appears to be a hooded figure with no definitive facial features and limbs that appear slightly incorrect. The plaque reads, "The General's Intelligence Master. One who knows all will know, one who knows will know or has known all things. Where birth and death are written, both slots are left blank."
Okay.
And when I say limbs that appear slightly incorrect, I mean like they look slightly too long or like slightly too short. Like it's humanoid almost, but it gives you a weird like uncanny valley feeling. That's what that means.
So what I wrote when you said limbs are whatever you said, I said limb.
Yeah.
I said limbs weird and then kept going.
Yeah, that works. They are weird. I'm also not an artist, so use your mental imagination. I can't draw these things. My brain is cooler than my hand. I can't do it.
Okay, so now that we've invested all the statues, what if we touch you light thing? Try and
Meditate with.
How about
Mm.
if somebody else would like to look at my statue, so we can get some hopefully get some information before
Yeah.
we rest, because I couldn't
Damn, Brontes, that was
get
quick.
anything.
Oh wait,
That
hold
was
on.
quick.
Sai, when I read the thing, did I read the name on the plaque or did I just read the description?
You
I think you just read the description.
Oh.
Can you? Okay, I'm gonna officially read it. So if you could just like,
Say it again.
I'm sorry.
Okay, that's fine. This statue is what appears to be a hooded figure with no definitive facial features.
No, not that one. You didn't read the name of it, so that's
Oh, no,
all
no.
I need.
No,
Sorry.
the name, where there is the name, it just says monster. Monster.
Okay.
I can spell that.
Well, I want
MONSTER?
I just want to make sure you weren't thinking I said mobster.
Okay.
Hey.
Forget
Statue.
about
Give it to
it.
me. What's the statue? What is that? Statue?
Oh, that's the fifth
I'm
one.
looking at
So, someone needs to do a DC 18 investigation intelligence check.
Oh,
I mean,
I can try. But I'm not.
investigation of an unknown number.
Retcon.
it's gonna have to be pretty high.
Bye.
Should
I'll
I
take a
try?
step back. You can step in.
I'm okay with you guys fishing. Okay, 22.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you kidding?
Well, hey, wizards.
Double 22s.
Okay, mentally construct the statue. It says
I
the
don't need to
statue. The statue appears to be a creature known as a Bahir, and the nameplate more than likely said Fulgurite, the Blue Flash. The rest is indecipherable.
Hey then.
Okay, well.
For those
Before
of you
we
at home
start-
who don't know what a Bahir is, it is a long snake-like scaled creature with 6 pairs of legs, with a giant snake face that like dislocates its jaw and breathes lightning. So imagine a giant blue snake with legs that has giant teeth and breathes lightning. That is what a Bahir is, and that is what Brontes can mentally reconstruct, and it was clearly named Fulgurite, the Blue Flash.
Well, that's kind of terrifying in its own way.
Kind
I
of dope.
wouldn't want to fuck with it.
You can.
Only,
Bahirs
Azeroth
Bahirs
did
are a
say
real
it
thing.
was
You could
one of the
Google
great
it if you
heroes.
want to know what it looks like.
before we start figuring out these motes of light, we should probably get the girl out of the dungeon, or do we want to just camp here?
People keep
We're
forgetting
at
about the girl.
Let's just camp here. She's like
Make sure
passed
that
out,
she's
right?
okay.
If I'm not
She's
mistaken.
unconscious.
She is healed but currently unconscious.
I just looked up a Bahir, and that is not even close to what I imagined.
No, right? It's fucking wicked, isn't it? I love Bahirs.
I say we kind of wait. Is the hole by like the 6 or by the 2? A little bit of metagaming. Is it to like the right, the left, down?
The hole that he made?
Yeah.
Oh, it's
behind the coffin.
It's directly behind the coffin where his token still is.
Cool.
He made a 10-foot wide corridor with magic. He literally cast Disintegrate enough times to melt a corridor for you.
It's just a fat snake with a millipede body.
Yeah, but it breathes lightning.
Really?
It's a cool monster.
Okay. Are we long resting? What's happening here? Are we long resting?
Short
or
rest.
I am going to tell
Short
you,
rest.
you cannot long rest because you guys, like in game, you guys woke up 20 minutes ago from a long rest.
Oh yeah.
And you can only long rest
I
once
kinda
a day.
forget about that.
So
We were gonna short rest
Short
to go
rest.
to these
Meditate.
light thingy mabobbers.
Meditation.
I'm going to. Is there like the torches are nearby, right? Can I make like a small bonfire? Or no? Is that like
The
not a thing,
torches-
just so we can?
the torches are imbued with magical fire. They don't really catch material, but all of you have tinder boxes and survival kits and packs and stuff. You could make a fire if you.
Yeah,
wanted.
I'm just gonna make a small fire.
Hold
Oh, sorry.
Oh, sorry. Do your thing.
I was just gonna make a small fire and just set up the bedroll and just get the girl comfortable in case she wakes up while we're all meditating around a fire.
Yeah.
I was also gonna say we should probably leave like a note for her, whoever's the most linguistically possible, so that she's not like, "Who in the hell are these people? And why are they sleeping around me?"
Oh, I want to be very clear.
And see if she's like,
When I say meditate,
meditate,
meditate, I don't mean like you're all going to sleep. It means you're just like focusing on it really hard. You're all still awake and conscious and can
More
speak.
focus. Needs more focus.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I just want
it's not like an elven meditation where you're like it's like a sleep replacement. It's literally like pondering an orb. Think of it like you're staring at a crystal ball really hard, but you're still awake. You're still conscious. If she woke up, you'd notice.
Okay,
make this orb my
Okay,
bitch.
so let's do that. Let's do it.
Okay,
Let's get it.
So I want to be very clear.
Get it.
Is there anyone who isn't taking the orb?
No.
I think we all want to try.
You're all gonna try the orb.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. Everyone said that they're all taking the orb and they're all doing it at basically the same time, right? You're all just gonna orb it up. Okay. I want everyone to roll initiative because that's the order we're gonna do these in.
No.
I forgot how to do that.
It's
Click the
top of your
button that
character
says
sheet.
initiative.
Holy
Oh,
shit!
fuck.
Oh, wait,
Damn.
never mind. I looked at Brontes.
Oh fuck!
I mean, it's just the order. So technically, Addy, you have the best chance because you get to learn the most information.
All right. Oh shit, we got a perfect. We got 2 perfects. Oh fuck. Hey!
Oh, me.
Damn!
So, if I have this right, it's Psy, Brontes, Calyx.
Pressure.
I'm sorry, no. Psy,
Whoa!
Brontes, Cole, Calyx, Onyx, Ataraxia. Is that correct?
Mhm.
Ataraxia, we're last. We're losers, but I beat you by 10.
Gotcha, bitch.
Way to like pull forth the camaraderie, only to slap her in the face with a backhanded comment.
Listen, I'm gonna level with you guys. What's about to happen? The prologue ended. The prologue ended the second your conversation with the general did. The kid gloves are now off.
Oh boy.
I've got my notes out.
We're fucked.
If at any point, if at any point for any reason, and I want to be very clear about this because everyone has their different levels of tolerance and preferences. If at any point, for any reason, anything I say that you determine to be too far, just stop me. That's all I'm gonna say. If that applies to
What do you
everybody.
mean too far?
What's too far mean?
Probably like
Define
more
too far.
information
Go
or
first.
something about their stories or something.
You
Like if there's
fool,
stuff
Rolling.
you want other
Define
people
too
to
Oh
know.
no. Oh no, I know what to say about past and stuff. I'm gonna because these are gonna be independent visions, so nothing I say any of you guys in character will know. So I'm gonna just say it as is. I'm talking about personal preferences.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like boundaries and
Like boundaries,
triggers
lines
and stuff.
crossing.
Like if you said something that you don't want to hear, you can just be
Yes.
like, all right, dude,
I'm
shut
fat
up.
and confident.
Okay.
I'm just fat.
Let me get out my list of songs. Songs.
Ophis, I love you. Oh my god.
Okay, we're gonna turn off the dungeon music. And we're
Thanks, Poppy.
It's now just eerily quiet.
Yeah.
Oh, what?
This is odd. I don't like this anymore.
I believe that should start. I'm gonna start Demon Army. Is anyone here? Is it playing music?
It's fine music.
Excellent.
On my end
I don't hear it. I'm gonna make sure. It might be something on my end.
Let me just turn it
Oh
on.
no, 16.
I can't hear. I can hear. I can hear something.
It's like faint.
Turn it up a
It's
little
very.
bit.
Okay,
I mean,
yeah.
I feel like I have to turn up my
volume.
audio.
Up the jams.
It's a
Pump it
slow
up.
build. It's a
Pump it.
slow build. Okay,
I hear
All
it.
right,
Yeah.
Poppy, what are we doing?
we are starting with Psy. I'm going. I'm
Why
now
does this feel like the final night of Survivor?
because what I'm now
What
going
is
to ask.
happening?
What I'm now going to ask everybody to do, if you could please mute your mic on Discord. Only Psy is going to talk and hear this. I don't want any interruptions.
I'm scared.
Okay. Sigh. You grasp the orb in your hands and you begin to meditate. After some minutes, you feel the feeling of magic and it drifts throughout your body. You close your eyes and then you open. You are no longer in the dungeon. You are on a cliffside overlooking a beautiful coastline. Beaches, a little small town, fishing boats, birds are flying, seagulls are chirping. It's beautiful. It's picturesque. It's, if you had the money, you'd build a vacation villa. It's beautiful. But you watch as things change. Enormous fissures break in the ground. Water drains into them and steam boils up. Birds drop out of the sky, dead instantly. Bugs burn, grass around you singes instantly, an unimaginable heat boils the seas in front of you, and all this steam rises and rises and rises until you're looking down on an impassable cloud that darkens and darkens and darkens until it is black. Within this, somehow, even darker shadows can be seen. These shadows are locked in combat. You see beams of acid fly out of the shadow and singe the very air. Blasts of electricity ionize the air around you, and you detect this disgusting sense of ozone that assaults your nostrils. Bursts of flames create soot that stains your hands just from it drifting in your nearby vicinity. And within this, you hear screaming. Screaming of people being ripped apart, dead. You look deeper into the shadows, you can't look away, and you see silhouettes of soldiers, men, humans in heavy armor with spears, getting ripped into pieces by gigantic, disgusting creatures. Multiple arms, multiple heads, vomiting acid that boils the skin off of your bones while leaving you alive. You see some monsters shooting these disgusting weapons that have appeared to have grown out of their hand as though they were fused together. They launch these leech-like projectiles. You watch as one crawls into a man's eye, devouring it, going even further, killing him instantly as it consumes his brain, only for the body to get up and shamble forward, ripping out the throat of his one-time friend at arms. It's disgusting. The bile raises in your throat and you breathe heavy. You panic at the incomprehensible scene before you. You see a white dragon, hundreds of feet long, flying over an army of these disgusting creatures. It breathes forth a blast of ice 300 feet long that raises 50, 60-foot glaciers with hundreds of these creatures locked inside. The glaciers shatter into pieces along with the bodies, only for a gigantic asteroid-shaped structure. You'd think it was an asteroid, but it's covered in fangs and mouths and 1,000 eyes and 100 tentacles as it slams into the white dragon, and they both crash into the ground in an explosion of fire and ice, as killing both instantly. And then it gets worse. More dragons fly across the air, each fighting off gigantic flying monstrosities that look like disgusting representations of what the enemy thinks dragons should look like. Gigantic bulbous wings and disgusting heads, brains that are swollen, shooting out their own breath of this acidic bile full of little leeches that pierce the skin and cause burns and rashes and eventual madness. The storm As you watch this, it raises, it gets higher, it gets higher, it gets higher, and pretty soon it's foot level, it's at the cliff. There's no more coastline, there's no more picturesque anything. You look behind you, the storm's already there, and you look forward and you see it has formed a dome around you. You have maybe 5 foot in front of you on all sides as you watch these shadows continue to massacre each other, and then the shadows get clearer. You can no longer sense what they are, you see what they are. You see the blood, you see the ichor, you see the bile, you see a monstrosity rip the wings off of a young dragon that was attempting to breathe some sort of breath weapon to save its friend. Both are killed instantly by giant bone swords that have grown out of the back of one of these monstrosities. This must be the Starscourge invasion. This must be the great enemy from the stars, because nothing the gods ever created could ever be this disgusting, this abhorrent, this cruel. It has to be. You can't comprehend a reality where it isn't. And then you take a second. You attempt to center yourself, and you realize that none of these visions have had any sound. It's just been sight. But you look over the mountains of bodies, the piles, the lakes of blood, the severed limbs, and the strewn about weapons. You see something bigger than all the rest, a towering giant. You can't tell how big. It has 6 arms. 2 have apparently fused to its swords, creating massive sickles of bone. 2 are writhing tentacles that grasp and crush and destroy and leak this acidic ichor. And 2 are these weird, disgusting cannons that have grown out of the arms, firing gigantic balls of these leeches that explode and scatter and kill hundreds per shot. On this disgusting chitinous carapace that it has bodies affixed to giant multi-foot-long spikes all over its corpse, as it uses the bodies of the fallen as extra protection from arrows and magical spells. Magic bounces off of it in most cases. Arrows bounce and fail to penetrate. Even gigantic cannon bursts leave nothing but scorch marks and scuffs on its gigantic armored plates. It chuckles at the failed attempts to harm it as it continues to slaughter hundreds of soldiers around it. Dragons attempt to breathe fire, and it doesn't work. Lightning, and it doesn't work. Ice, and it breaks out of it. Nothing works. It reflects everything. You see it locked in combat with a very familiar dragon man made of red and gold scales. They fight violently. They slash incessantly, parrying each shot, never really landing a hit. And then it stops. It takes its attention away from its opponent, and you watch as its head slowly rotates, and its eyes meet yours. Which shouldn't be possible. This is just a vision, isn't it? Until you hear in your head, a new one! And 2 tentacles fly out of its carapace. It travels miles instantly, and you see it break out of the clouds and reach for your throat. Instantly, the clouds slam shut. 6, 7, 8 sheets of thundercloud block you and protect you from these tentacles. You hear this insane, mind-numbing screeching, and it kills your brain. Blood pours from your eyes and your ears. You can't comprehend it. All you hear after the screech is a repeat of the screech amid your own heart beating and your own throat desperately gasping for breath. Your hands find your throat and you claw at the skin, hoping maybe, just maybe, you'll make a new airway that you can breathe and not pass out. And then it all stops. You're standing in the sphere, no shadows, no visions, no sound. The only thing you see is a silhouette directly in front of you of a 5-foot tiefling-shaped person with a broken horn. All you see is 2 glowing red eyes with vertical, reptilian, almost snake-like pupils and a wide smile like a Cheshire cat. And you hear in your head, "That was a close one, wasn't it? Almost lost another little wormling. What brings you here? It's only been a short 1,000 years since I've been allowed an audience with someone."
My name is Sai. Who are you?
A beautiful name. Is it really yours?
What do you mean? Of course it's mine.
The fact that we stand apart from each other means it isn't. You were given a name. A much stronger one. One that befits your lineage.
My name is Sybil Emberhorn. That is my name.
Ah, Emberhorn. Ah, how long it's been since I set eyes on him. Memories. But that's the past. If I'm talking to you, that means the general has decided it's all going to end. Am I correct in my assumption?
Yes, that is.
I do so love being right. Call it the pride of a dragon. Regardless, we have to come to an agreement. If you're here and you saw what you just saw, then you know what you're in for, don't you?
Yes.
Well, then, let me ask you a question. What is fate?
What is fate?
Fate. What is it? To you, at least.
What is fate to me? Set in stone.
I'm sorry, what you cut out? Say that again.
I don't think it's set in stone.
Stone.
There has to be other choices.
I would agree. But tell me, is fate something decided by one's actions, or is it simply influenced?
I think there is always a possibility to influence it, but it depends on your actions too.
Interesting. Let's test that, shall we? The
Sorry,
shadow.
you cut out.
Oh, I said interesting. Let's test that, shall we? And the hand of the silhouette waves, and you watch as a small portion of the cloud opens. You see a very similar scene to the one I described previously, only the people being ruined are people that are now much more familiar to you. You see a red-skinned tiefling ripped in half, being devoured by a swarm of little beetle-shaped creatures. You see a human man wearing a mask, impaled on a spike, a gassed face reaching through the fabric. You see a dark elf in a climactic magical clash with a creature, losing rapidly as the spells overtake him and he's burned away to ash. You see a half-elven woman attempting to use trees and wild beasts to assist in her defense. All of it is dissolved in a wave of acid, and you see a massive half-orc figure desperately attempting to protect a fallen soldier, only to be impaled hundreds of times by tiny spikes. Each spike grows slowly until it rips his body apart. And you hear, if fate is changeable, then this fate is also possible, is it not?
Yeah, this fate, watching them, us, die is possible, but it doesn't have to be the end. It won't be.
If it meant giving up pursuit of obtaining everything. Would you?
To protect the people I care about? Yes.
The people you care about. Is that these? Or these? And they move their other hand, and another small window opens, and you see all your friends from Underbelly going through similar things that I just described as your newfound party members. And the voice says, "Could you choose?"
Why does it have to be either or?
So you would simply ask for it all? Protect everyone, lose no one?
That is not what I mean.
The voice still awaits its answer.
No. I know there's a lot we will lose trying to do this.
Interesting. Dragons before you have come, demanding everything and leaving with nothing. To admit your own humanity is rare in my presence. Tell me this, little tiefling. How do you feel about the end? Your end?
I've never had to think about it before. I always felt like it was far away. That I would have time. That it wouldn't be some grand apocalypse. Even if we get that far.
Interesting as well. A final question. When you look at me, what do you see?
I kind of doesn't know how to answer that question. I see me, or you kind of look like me, but I suppose that's the image you're portraying.
I am formless, voiceless. I don't exist anymore. You see what I am as a reflection of yourself. Interesting. That's a first. And you watch as the silhouette starts to move in a three-dimensional space, and a blue tiefling hand reaches out from the clouds. I'm willing to see where this goes. A young dragon on the start of a grand adventure. I can give you immense power. The power to save everyone, to change fate. But I can be an immense burden if you're unprepared. Would you have me? And the hand extends further and lingers there.
Sai looks down at the hand, considering her options, because this is a lot, and she was nearly about to vomit watching all of those things you eloquently described.
Try my best.
I won't deny that I am terrified, but I want to do this. I was nothing before, and I don't really care about being anything after this. But I want to protect people. to save this world, even if it means costing me my life. And she takes the hand.
The voice says, "Wanting. Now you're sounding like a dragon." And roll a charisma save.
Oh god. Let's see, that would be
A save,
Pressing.
yeah.
did I do it?
That is a check. Roll a save. Your modifier is different, that's why it matters.
Oh, I'm dumb.
Okay. No, that's fine. You awaken exactly where you were standing. No time appears to really have passed. The only thing you notice different is that in your hand, that white light orb that you were meditating on is no longer there. Instead, you hold a clear crystal ball. The crystal ball has a marblescent, almost stone metallic draconic claw grasping the ball in its palm. It's about the sphere is about fist size, so it's a little bigger than your hand with the claw. The claw is prismatic in nature. It constantly shimmers. It has every color you could think of: red, blue, white, green, black, gold, silver, bronze, copper. It's simultaneously all colors and no colors, and it always shifts under your gaze. And you watch as the hand that's wrapped around the orb reaches out a finger and slices the tip of your finger and sucks a drop of blood into the center of the orb. The orb grows a very familiar black lightning storm inside of it, like a snow globe that repeats on a loop constantly, never the same bolt, never the same position twice. And the colors of the hand all shift to be one giant singular bronze color. You take some dice. 9 damage. The damage is acid, electric, fire, ice, poison.
Jesus.
It's all of them, but only 9 total. You do not get resistance to any of them. It is true damage.
I don't know how to.
You can just subtract 9 health.
Can I not do this? There we go.
And then, and because you're the first person into your vision, nobody sees anything that happens to you. But what they would see is a series of fire, ice, acid, poison, and lightning encapsulate your body and hurt you immensely. But
Yeah.
you survived, and you now hold an orb in your hands. The orb does not speak. Your conversation does not continue, but in the back of your head, you only know that you have linked yourself to this orb, to it, but it's not linked to you as a person. It is linked to your soul. This is a soul weapon, and you can feel the souls in the weapon and the soul in you resonating. And in that, you know this orb's name. This orb is the Orb of Torn Skies.
Orb of Torn Skies. Okay.
Now,
I'm assuming Sky is literally collapsed to the ground because there's no way in hell she was stood down and was still standing.
yeah, you are not unconscious, but you are significantly injured.
Yeah, I'm taking a knee.
I have added a file to your sheet. If you go to the library, you should see Orb of Torn Skies as an item document.
Oh, cool.
Can you make sure you can open it? Can you open it?
I can open
Okay.
it.
Please read through that silently. And then, if you so choose, once all these visits are over, you can tell people what it does. Otherwise, you can keep it secret. It's up to you. Okay. Now, everyone can unmute, because I need like 3 minutes, because that voice fucked my throat. I need like a second.
It was a really good voice.
Oh my god.
It was.
It was really
Yeah.
good.
That was,
Now.
that was awesome.
If I was smart, I would have had a drink ready. But yeah.
I was like trying to come up with how Sai would like answer, and I was like, I feel so stupid right now. Why can't I think of anything to say?
If you were able to answer quickly, I would have felt like I did it wrong. It was meant to get you thinking.
Yeah, so in my head, while you were describing everything, I was just picturing like when all the grossness like got pulled away and she was facing the who she was facing. It was just like in my head picturing her like leaning over and like vomiting everything she'd eaten that day.
Yeah, I believe it. That is what I was trying to go for. I toned it back a little as I was talking. I was like, I've been going for a minute, but that is the image I'm trying to portray. Where this is like the cataclysmic event of the world, so much so that they changed the time scale. Like this is something that, because 1,000 years has passed, people almost feel like it never happened. Like it's a like how people talk about World War II and how it was a conspiracy. But if you were a soldier in World War II, that shit was hell, and you see it every time you close your eyes. It's that times 1,000. It's that plus Starship Troopers, plus Star Wars, plus fucking every cataclysmic, awful thing you could think of.
Yep.
And you,
Spaceball.
And
good on you for the way you described it too, and also the way that the fucking as soon as you started describing the creature and how its head started turning, I was like, oh you fucker, oh you fucker, I hate you.
Well, dude, it's a scary thing. It's who knows what that meant. But it is definitely, it was what I was going for. These are disgusting creatures that are deceptively intelligent, disgusting creatures, and they are a threat. And I was trying my best to describe, without taking character agency away, the closest thing the Psy can have with me telling you you're having a panic attack by having a panic attack.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I can't remember who number 2 was, so I have to check. It was Brontes. What was your song?
Good luck. Have a fun time, pal.
Your song was Halfling Festival. Stop that. Play this.
Oh, great.
I swear, there's gonna be a total change in tone.
That's why I rolled for it. Okay, I'm ready to do his. If everyone wants to remute. Okay. Brontes. You do the same. You meditate on the orb, and in time, you feel your vision start to slowly fade away. You wake up in a very familiar place. A smile crosses across your face. It's the tavern in your hometown. The one that was once destroyed by those brigands that attacked your home, but you seared them off, and in time everything was rebuilt. This tavern was upgraded, customized, opportunities, new wood, floors, tables. Every liquor they could get stocked behind the bar, why not? And you are standing in the doorway. The only thing weird is that nobody's moving. People are frozen, mid-conversation. They look like they're having fantastic conversations. Some are laughing, some are slapping their knee as they clearly were midway through a joke. You see one waitress frozen in time as she's halfway through spilling a drink off of the tray she was using. No one's moving, though. Nobody except one guy at the bar in a white cloak.
I'm gonna walk over and approach him.
Do you sit in the stool next to him?
Yes. I would like to sit next to him.
How's it been? He says without looking at you.
Do I know you?
No. But I know you. Because my boss has taken a little bit of a liking. And he kind of nudges you with his elbow.
I'd ask him who his boss is.
Oh, don't let her hear that. She might take offense. And he reaches into his cloak and he pulls out a mirror. But the mirror doesn't show you a reflection. It shows a portal to another room. And you see the visage of a very familiar raven-haired elven woman that you recognize as the goddess Mystra. She's spoken to you once or twice in dreams after you awakened your magic to save your village. The big difference is that she is not in her normal composed state, typically sipping a glass of elven wine, cracking a joke. She is furious. Her hair is burst in flames. She is smashing every piece of furniture in her throne room. She casts spells that conjures meteors from the sky and obliterate the marble columns where her throne is. She destroys desks, paperwork, spell scrolls, all of it burnt. She disintegrates holes in walls. She is furious. And he takes the mirror and slowly puts it back in his coat. He goes, she was gonna come, but she was not happy with the general waking up, as you can imagine. And he kind of giggles. He goes, she's pretty pissed about that. Ooh, I wish we had stopped that one, huh? And he kind of laughs. He like laughs in his drink as he's taking a sip. He's got this big, like, comically large beer mug full of like beer that never seems to drain. It always seems to be full no matter how much he drinks from it.
Why is she so mad about the general waking up?
He kind of like raises his eyebrow at you. He goes, oh, look at you playing coy. Maybe it's the invasion that's gonna kill everyone in the world, huh? Remember the last time the invasion came? Remember how there used to be elves? You know, God of the Elves, they're kind of a traumatic reminder, you know? She did lose everything last time. Well, everything except, you know, magic, I guess. But you know, who knows how gods think, am I right? I'm just an angel. And as he says that, he kind of like rolls his shoulders. 2 giant 10-foot angel wings burst out the back of his cloak. And like they like flap to loosen up. And they are beautiful. They glow in a prismatic light. And like feathers seem to continuously fall off of them and then disappear and then regrow on the wings themselves. They look beautiful.
You're an angel?
That I am. A little bit of a messenger. Wasn't supposed to be here. The big thing was this. And he reaches, and instead of reaching into his cloak, he puts 2 fingers to your chest, and he flicks his wrist, and he's holding the orb you were meditating with. And he goes, this right here, this is something special. I didn't think the general would give you one. But you know, he works in mysterious ways. But yeah, this kind of conflicts with plans that the goddess of magic may or may not have had for you. So, we inserted ourselves, you could say, in this, what would have been a rather traumatic vision. No reason for you to go through that. Not again, anyway. Unless you wanted to, of course. And he looks at you and he makes like a half smirk, raised eyebrow. Like, hey, you want me to fuck you up?
What traumatic vision?
Oh, this little weapon. It would have shown you some sort of horrible something or other, the future, the past, who knows? It really depends on which weapon wanted to meet you. It's funny how these soul weapons work. There were once hundreds. Most of them got destroyed. Most of them were intentionally destroyed. But the Dragon General held on to a few of his favorites. It's funny the way it works. If you hold it and you meditate hard enough, the orb resonates with your soul. And the weapon that feels the most of a connection with you, if they're charismatic enough, they push themselves to the front of the line. I don't know which one you would have gotten, but those trials can be rough, if I'm being honest. I spared you all that because I have been given permission to do something a little different, if you're willing to hear me out.
What do you have to offer?
Oh, just a little bit of this. And he still has the ball in his hand. He takes the beer mug, that like infinite beer mug, and he dunks it, the orb into it like 3 or 4 times. And then he pulls it out, and the orb changes color, and it turns like bright sapphire blue. And he goes, yep, I made a little bit of a tweak. Mishra gave me the power to, of course, before. Because we were planning on doing this. We were planning on doing this eventually. You got a interesting fate ahead of you. Never set in stone, of course. You could make your own decisions. But we had this mission that we were going to send you on. Obviously, the whole invasion thing is probably going to take precedence. But you would just be a doll if you could maybe handle both of them for us. In return, obviously, I permission to give you this. And he holds out the sapphire orb. He goes, it's a soul weapon with a little bit of extra. You know, it's a personal tweak. Mistra decided on making something specific just for you. On the condition, of course, that you officially become her chosen, that is, with all the power and responsibilities that come with it. If, you know, of course, I don't want to force it on you. You know, how we Angel's choice, it's a big thing. But it's up to you, but I would hear your thoughts.
I mean, it's an honor to be chosen as Mithra's chosen, so I would gladly accept.
Oh, careful now. Don't do it just because she's a bigwig. You have the right to say no. This is a big responsibility. I don't want you to feel forced. I want this gotta be something you want. You know what I'm saying?
I'd rather not the end of the world, and I'd rather... It's a great honor to become Mithra's chosen, so I'd rather accept. I'm not gonna back down from this opportunity.
Oh, I love to hear that. She knows how to pick them, I'll tell you what. Maybe one day when she calms down, I'll let her know how cool you are. And he, like, kind of gives you, like, a noogie. Because he's this older guy, almost older gentleman, and he's taller than you. He's got these big wings. He kind of, like, his left wing kind of wraps around you and pulls you in closer on the bar stool. And he gives you, like, a noogie. And he goes, okay, I guess I should tell you the mission then. So you know that, what was his name? Loser? The weird skeleton guy? You know, you just fought him and you killed him and sent him to hell, whatever the fuck you did.
Ryzen?
You remember?
I believe his name was Ryzen.
Sure, whatever. Who cares? He's Tiamat's problem now. But, fun fact, he happened to have beef with a group of people. I believe he told you their name. The Corpse's Hand, right? That should be familiar to you?
Yes, I remember that.
Yeah. Here's the thing about them. Undead, not cool. You know who really doesn't like the undead? Angels. And more specifically, you know, the gods. They're not a big fan, but because of certain rules and stuff and those sorts of legal obligations, we can't really do anything. We don't do the whole smiting thing anymore, as much as I'd love to. So what we need is a certain individual, magically inclined, to, let's say, go to bat against these 10 dark wizards, or whatever they're calling themselves, and execute them. Dead. We don't want them walking this earth anymore. And ideally, killing all their undead and freeing all the souls so that they can go on to their afterlife and not be tortured eternally or whatever. If you kind of catch what I'm putting down?
I think I get it.
Yeah. So basically, there's 10 wizards, that run this little Corpse's Hand organization. I need you to kill them. And by I mean Mistra, obviously. We're parlaying. We need them dead. I don't care how you do it. And obviously, the invasion comes first. So if you get to it soon, awesome. If you do it after the invasion, also awesome. I just need you to promise me that whenever you find one, or find information about one, you will A, kill them, or B, at least report the information to me, or Mistra, just pray, so that we can at least keep tabs on them. And then when the situation arises for you, that maybe you get a free minute, you and your buddy, hey, I don't even mind if you take your buddies. You made like 5 new friends or whatever. Just kill them. I don't care how you do it. I don't care the methodology or anything. I just need them dead. And as soon as they're dead, I'll come personally. I'll pick them up. And after that, it's no longer your problem. I'll handle the logistics of where they end up. Let's just say that. You know what I'm saying?
I think I understand.
Yeah. So, but I gotta ask again. You know, this isn't a devil deal. You could always back out, but, and he holds his hand out. The second you take this, it's a promise. You're making a promise to a god. That's like an oath. Those don't go away easy. You gotta be serious. You gotta be ready. You ready?
I'm ready.
I love to hear it. And then he puts the blue orb in your hand, and it starts to glow massively. And then you watch as the tavern around you starts to lose all its color, and then it starts to dissolve. And then as everything starts to fade out, the only thing that doesn't fade out is the angel, and he starts to flap and kind of fly away into nothing. And the last thing he says to you is, I would have let you hang out in the tavern, but I don't really get to decide what happens when the trial's over. It seems like the weapon's done. Sorry about that. Maybe say hi to everybody next time you see him in town. You never know how long anyone's ever going to be around. And then he says it almost ominously, and he kind of flies away, and your vision ends. And you wake up standing where you were standing, and in your hand, what was once an orb is now a half staff. It is about 3 foot tall, so it's about up to your waist, or to your stomach. It is what appears to be 2 beautiful pieces of metal. One, a 3 foot long string of perfect black ebony metal wrapped around another perfect string of ivory metal. They twist completely symmetrically up to the top where both of the heads flare out into the images of dragons, and held, and then both heads wrap around, and they hold in their center a big blue gemstone that appears completely translucent, that crackles constantly with magical energy. And this weapon resonates with your soul, having been attached to your soul with your bonds with Mystra. This weapon tells you its name, and it says, without words, it says in the back of your mind that its name is Weavebreaker, the wizard's staff. And I will add it to your library. Save changes. Okay, now if you go to your library, it should be visible. You can read it. And just like with Sai, if you choose to reveal what it does to your friends, you may, or you may keep it secret. It is your item. Okay. 12, 21. Who was next? It was Cole. Yes, Cole. Okay. Cole's was this. Okay. Cole, are you unmuted?
Hello.
Excellent. So, I know you're sharing your mic with Onyx. I ask Onyx to remain quiet for sake of not breaking the scene. Your song,
I'll do my best.
Your song is playing. Please turn it up a little bit. Excellent. Okay. Cole, much like the other two, you do the same. You meditate on this orb that is in your hands. Seemingly blasé to the magical creation, you're attuning. Maybe you get a cool weapon. You know, you've been traveling. Weapons always help you with your end goal.
Fuck yeah.
You meditate on this orb, and it gives you a weird feeling. A feeling of questions. A feeling of a lack of answers. It's strange. And then you blink and you're not in the dungeon anymore. It's weird. You're in a place that you've never been, but it feels familiar. You look in a wooden room with a wooden floor, and it seems to stretch in front of you infinitely. Dotted all across the room are pedestals with glass cases. Every single glass case holds something immensely valuable. Gems, crowns, bars of gold, platinum, silver, piles of gold, magical items, wands with filigree, staffs made of pure adamantium that are unbreakable and unbelievably magical. Even you who can't cast magic, you could just tell by looking at it. They're all ornately displayed on beautiful soft pillows. But the thing that catches your eye the most is the floating words in front of you. In common, written on the very air itself. No voice presents itself, no sound reaches your ears, but you are simply asked the question, tell me, man who travels, what is the most valuable thing?
Family.
Okay. Do you say family out loud?
Yeah.
Okay. So you reply family, and then your answer appears below the question. And then it goes, interesting. In this room lies everything, but only you. What is the most valuable thing here? You can walk around freely, by the way. Like, you're not locked in place. If you would like to investigate each individual, like, pillar or do anything specific, you may.
Oh, sorry. I kind of got like a visual, like it was.
Oh yeah, I know. That's why I wanted to clarify. This is like think of it. You're in like the display room of a museum, right? And it's got all the exhibits. You can walk around freely. Everything is just in glass cases.
You don't want to around here.
It's a vision. Yeah. You just tell me that you're walking around and then you go from there.
Yeah, I want to walk around. I want to window shop.
Okay. You look around. You see a crown. And it's got a little nameplate. It's Gibbon's crown. You see a beautiful platinum crown inlaid with 30 beautiful clear emerald gems in the metal. You see another. You see Abellath's sapphire. And it's a sapphire the size of your head, perfectly polished and perfectly hewn to be almost spherical, like a crystal ball, but made entirely of sapphire. It has to be worth millions of gold. You look further. You see a staff, Agazazer's staff, made of pure gold with rubies studded at each inch point up the cylinder, leading to a head with a giant diamond. Valueless. You never in your life could have the amount of money this thing is worth. You continue looking for it, and you see on each pillow the things get more and more and more and more valuable. Roll a investigation check or a perception check, your choice. Okay, 17 is very good. You continue to look through all these, and everything you see is even more valuable than the last thing. They all have names that you don't comprehend. Like, it's like, oh, Melf's diamond collection. You're like, I've never heard of a Melf. You're like, that's weird, but it's extremely. And then you're like, okay, that's cool. It's very valuable, but you're like, that can't be the most valuable thing. This place is huge. And then you look at the next thing, and it's like, oh, that's probably more valuable. And you look at the next thing, you're like, well, that's definitely more valuable. You're like, well, that crown's got like 30 emeralds. If each emerald is worth 5,000, then you're doing the math in your head. You're like, God, the values of these things are crazy. But with the 17 perception, you do notice in the corner of the room, underneath, like, in a pile of, like, dust and, like, trash thrown away, you do notice a bland, designless, almost dingy tin ring.
I'm gonna go look at the ring.
You pick it up?
Yeah, I'm intrigued.
It's covered in, like, varnish and grime, and, like, the dust kind of clings to it. But, like, the one thing you notice is, like, this ring is almost totally smooth. But you notice when you flip it inside and you're kind of polishing, you're cleaning, like, oh, there's like weird writing on the inside of the ring. Do you attempt to, like, do you do anything to clean the ring off? You have all your equipment on you. So just to clarify.
I mean, I give it a little spit shine and rub it on my shirt.
Yeah. So you spit on it, you rub it with your shirt. And you're like, okay, you're like, well, maybe, who knows? Maybe with a little bit of polish, this thing might be worth a couple of silver. It's like a little ring you wear just to make your friends think you look cool. And you see on the inside, it's written in Infernal, which you do speak, but you see the word truth. It's like faintly carved. It looks like someone carved it with like the tip of a knife. And it's scratched into the metal of the ring. It like hastily, but the ring has no other describing features other than it just says truth in Infernal.
Does the ring fit my finger?
It does, if you put it on.
I would like to try it on.
You put it on, and which finger do you put it on?
My right hand ring finger.
Yeah. You put it on, and it fits perfectly. You watch as it, like, as you slide it over your finger, it's almost like the metal isn't made of metal. It's like it's made of rubber. And it almost, in whatever size it moves down your finger, it's always the perfect size.
It's a true fit.
It is.
If I'm not seeing anything, I mean, I continue to walk.
As you
Nothing else is
continue,
happening.
as you continue to walk down the corridor, this almost infinite corridor, you see more and more and more insanely valuable things. Sometimes it's gemstones. Sometimes it's a book, right? It's a book titled like The Only Copy of Mirandar's Memoir, right? It's like the only copy of whoever that guy was. You've never heard of him. And it's like, oh, interesting. It's a book. I mean, someone might pay a lot of money for this if they knew who that was. And you keep walking and you just, everything seems basically valueless. Like you can't comprehend the amount of money it would take to buy one of these items if it were for sale at any store. You don't think that there's enough minted money in the nation to buy any one of these things. Any one of these things could be, quote unquote, the most valuable thing. You would have almost no way of knowing. As you walk, by the way, those words that were floating in front of you, they follow you. They're always 5 feet in front of you.
And they never change.
No, they don't change unless you answer them.
What was last question that was written in the air?
It was at first I asked you like what is the most valuable thing, and you said family, and
family,
then it said like in this room is everything, but only you.
Oh.
What is the most valuable thing?
I would go with the truth if that would follow up with anything with the ring.
So do you like hold the ring forward and like submit it towards the words?
Yeah. Present it.
Okay. You watch as the ring like glows slightly, and then like the words "the ring" appear below the answer to the question, and you watch as the words kind of dematerialize and they turn into like gas, like mist, and they start to kind of fall apart, and then they kind of work into a shape. And then the shape, I can't do a female voice, so imagine this voice is female.
Okay.
The voice says, if value is what it is, what am I worth? And the mist coalesces, and it takes a face you have been searching for a very long time.
I apologize. I'm a visual guy. Can you repeat that one more time?
So the mist coalesces into like a female form. And
Yeah. Just what it said. Yeah, I got you.
Oh yeah. And what it said was fuck, I don't remember. I didn't. I thought you got it. I didn't think. I'm improving, but yeah, it was like something. What am I worth?
What am I worth?
And I will say it is what you think your mother would look like at this point in your life.
Mm-hmm.
Though she is still notably made of mist. It's just she's coalesced to a form.
Yeah. I would give the whole room I'm in, to find her.
You say that out loud? You say you'd give everything in the room to find her?
Yeah.
Roll a... What would be the best for this? I'm trying to think. It's either performance or persuasion. I was trying to think. Do persuasion.
I was gonna say I'd like persuasion.
Yeah.
Oh.
The face kind of sours.
Ew.
And it looks at you and it goes, just the room?
I can't ask. Can I ask questions?
You can try.
What do you feel is adequate for your life, essentially? The truth. It's where you are.
What I feel is irrelevant. Finding me is your goal, not my own.
Sorry, I'm kind of at a dead end here.
I told you I'd get you thinking.
Yeah, no, you got me on this one. I'm kind of stuck between a rock and a rock.
The whole country?
Something like that.
Dwayne the Brock Johnson.
So the floating words is still in her voice.
No, the
That
floating
never
floating
changed?
words are gone. The floating
They're
words
gone. They're just
dissolved
gone.
into her image, and
Just a
and she
sour
is
face
speaking,
now
and yeah,
you're
she is
sad.
speaking in her voice, but I can't do the voice. But
I got you.
imagine-
And she's just upset now.
She seemed to have taken offense to how little you offered. I'll say that.
Very sentimental. I'd give my soul to know you're safe.
She smiles. Interesting. That's something with a very flexible value. And all the pillars and all with the glass cases, you watch as all of them, like the glass comes off of them. And as soon as the glass comes off of them, those beautiful ornate things in the glass look disgusting. Like, as soon as the glass comes off, the crown looks tarnished and dirty, and the emeralds are clearly fake, and the pillow is covered in dust and soot and bugs. You look at the staff, and the staff is riddled with holes and beetles that have chewed through it. The diamond is dirty and crusty. Everything looks gross. And then you watch as the pillars slowly sink into the floor, and the room tightens around you till it's like maybe like a 20-foot by 20-foot room. It's almost like you're in like a living room with nothing in it, and you're just standing face to face with this like vague smoky form of your mother, and the only thing still left in the room that didn't instantly tarnish and disappear is the ring that you had put on your finger. And you look, and then she looks at you, and she talks about what you said, and she looks at the ring, and she goes, "Many things are valuable, but what's a soul worth?"
There is no value. It's infinite. It's everything you can give to one person. It's the only thing you can negotiate with gods.
Negotiating with gods. Aren't we a high roller? And she smirks.
You know.
And then she goes, "Reaching for the stars, aren't we? That's my boy." And you watch as the form starts to dissipate. Roll a wisdom saving throw.
A wisdom to the
Wisdom save.
top. Oh.
Hey.
17. Okay. You feel as the smoke starts to dissipate, the room starts to fall apart, and everything starts to turn into that smoke, and including the floor. And you feel like you're about to fall, and as you see the floor start to disintegrate, you see that there's nothing below it. It's an infinite void. You'd be falling forever and never hit anything. You'd be falling for eternity, and you'd never get out. You'd never escape. But you kind of like, the fear starts to overtake your heart, and you almost lock up in fear. But with that 17, you kind of push yourself. You're like, no. You're like, my story doesn't end here. I just saw her. That's my goal. That's what I've been trying to do. She was right there. I know she's out there. I can't die here. And as you feel that, the ring on your hand starts to glow, and like a literal door appears in front of you with a knob and everything.
I'd like to go through the door.
Yeah.
I need to know what's there.
Yeah, you place your hand on the knob, you push the door open, it's a push door, you step through, and you're right back where you were standing in the dungeon. Everything about you is the same. The door disappears behind you. You don't even think anybody else saw it. And the only thing that has changed between then and now, the ring is still on your finger. But it looks very different. Now you see this beautiful platinum ring with gold and silver filigree of these like elven characters and all sorts of like little stylistic calligraphy-esque writings, not necessarily in any language, but just for sake of lavishness. And this ring, what once looked disgusting, is now beautiful. And you look at the sides of the ring and the inside of the ring, and you see now, instead of on the inside of the ring, on the outside of the ring, all one in infernal and then one in common. It says truth, and then in the same truth that it said in infernal, and then in common it says and answers. And then you know have the ring, which I will give to you. This is known as the Ring of the Wilds. And I'm adding it to your sheet.
Expand your thing.
Save changes. Yeah, you may read that and then discuss it with your friends if you so choose, or keep it secret.
Where?
It's in your library. Like if you go to items, there's like an items column.
I am dumb. Hang on.
Scroll down.
It should only be available on your.
Yeah, I'm on mine. I'm still dumb and can't find it.
So wait. Should it be where like his other items are?
It should be.
It's not. Should he try Xing this out and refreshing it almost?
I don't know. It worked for everybody else. I don't know. Edit.
Of course.
In players' journals, save changes. Here. Just keep looking for it while I do the next one. We'll get there.
Oh, what was it called?
Ring of the Wilds.
Try Xing out and let's. Okay, we're gonna mute.
Yeah, you
and
mute.
try and figure this out.
And who was the next one?
I got it.
Never mind, we found it.
Excellent. As I said, you could read through that. I think the next one was Calyx. I don't want to scroll.
Calyx.
Sounds right.
Yep. Okay, so I gotta change the music again. Okay, Calyx. You, much like everybody else, hold the gem in your hands and you focus on it. Promises of some sort of weapon, power that the general said that you might have. And you jump at the opportunity. More power means you can protect more people. It means you can make up for past mistakes, and you're proud to take the chance. You look into the orb, and at first nothing happens, and you're scared that maybe you're not worthy. Maybe no one wanted, none of these weapons wanted to speak to you, to talk to you, to give you a chance, to help you make up for past mistakes. But then a vision overtakes you. But the vision is strange. It's like your vision splits. From your left eye, you're standing in a, I don't know, some sort of hovel, some sort of impromptu field hospital. It's weird. Everything's big. It's too big. Beds that are 2 or 3 times the size of what a bed should be. Dressers that are taller than you. Walls that reach 40, 50 feet in the air. It's huge buildings. It doesn't make any sense. And out of your right eye, it's weird. It's first person. It's like your normal eye, but you aren't there. You look at something different. It's like you're seeing 2 things at the same time. From both eyes, you see in the bed across from you, you see a woman clearly going through labor pains, pregnant. The thing that catches you off guard is that she's enormous, easily 25 feet tall, blood red skin, black hair. And you realize instantly you're not looking at people. You're not even on your home plane. You're on the plane of fire, and that is a fire giant. Strange. You've never seen one. No one ever has. They really don't leave. But you see it nonetheless, and you see struggles. After minutes of pain and crying and coaching from another gigantic doctor, your vision takes the form of, once again, first person. You see two tiny red hands kind of making fists in front of you. Seemingly now your hands, as you are looking through the lens of a baby fire giant. Time speeds up, though. What was once sitting idly is now a rapid increase in progression. You watch as in the span of seconds, you live an entire life. You go to school for the first day. You get your first pet dog. You get your first crush. She teases you at first, but you learn to love each other. You're in elementary school learning shapes and words, and you learn to speak. You're in middle school, you learn numbers, you learn math. And when you become of age, your father takes you into his workshop, and he teaches you smithing. He was always an amazing blacksmith. He would grant you swords and armor and toys to play with made of infernal metal. It was one of your most fun things. He told you he would teach you his ways when you were ready, and it seems now you are. He takes you into his workshop every single day after school for hours, hours, and hours. You slave away at an impossibly hot fire, working this black metal into extremely eloquent, beautiful shapes that you don't think are possible by mortal hands, and you are proud. Your life continues to progress. You grow up, you get married, you graduate college, and you decide you're going to move out. You move out, you buy a house, but you don't just buy a house, you buy a smithy. You continue in your father's footsteps. You move to a new town, you start this blacksmith, and you make the best weapons, the best armor, even rings, tiny filigrees. You're the best. Everyone knows you. People come from miles around to get your weapons, and every single weapon, armor, ring, you sign off with your mark, the mark that you made when you made your very last training item with your dad, the 7-pointed star with a flame in the middle. That's your moniker. That's the symbol everybody knows. And one day you get an amazing offer. A man cloaked walks into your smithy and asks for 100 sets of armor and weapons. He says he has a band of mercenaries that he wants to be protected. And you jump at the chance. 100 commissions in one sitting, if you can get them done, you'd be set with money. Your family would be secure for seemingly forever. You'd never have to worry about money. You could travel. You could take your wife anywhere she wanted. You could have a kid one day, and he would never need to worry about not having enough to eat. It sounds like a beautiful idea. And so you work through the nights, days at a time, barely sleeping, barely eating, barely drinking water. Your furnace never gets cold, and you work painstakingly until you finish 100 of your best sets of armor and weapons, and you are proud. You deliver them, and with pride you go home, and you tell your family the amazing news. Or you would. You get home, and things are different. What was once a bustling town with your blacksmith almost seemingly centered around its economy is now a town of rubble. Houses burnt and broken and destroyed to the ground. Bodies lie in the streets, beheaded, severed, stabbed in the back, limbs removed, guts strewn about. It was a massacre. Almost no weapons are seen in the hands of those killed, caught completely off guard. You, in fear, make haste to your home, just in time to see the man who, ever so kindly, set you up for life, slit your wife's throat as she screams as she sees you enter the room. He laughs sickeningly. "Thanks for the weapons. This would have been a pain otherwise. I'm getting paid 10 times what I paid you to get rid of this filthy town. It's all about investments after all." And he laughs again. So much you ball your fists in rage. This man is going to be beat to death in your hands. You fail to protect your wife, you fail to protect the town, but at least you can take him down and avenge them, is what you would do, until you notice the sword through your chest, and you look down to see on the blade a 7-pointed star and a flame in the middle. as your vision starts to fade out and you pass out. Your vision shunts back again. There's the town, the now dead body of what was once you, apparently, having lived this man's entire life. And you see, as a pillar of flames erupts 5 feet to his right, you see a man in a beautiful suit, elegant, red skin, big black horns curling up like a goat. He has a devilish smile about him. And devil wings. He walks up to the dying, bleeding out man and silently makes an offer. The man contemplates temporarily, but ultimately relents, and you see him reach with the last of his strength, reach out and shake this devil's hand. And you watch as his body begins to burn and crumple and form into a tiny, tiny amber ball, roughly hewn, like a million years of collected tree sap. And you can only hear the faint screaming of the man from inside. The devil throws it up and catches it like a baseball and laughs at another successful conquest or trick, whatever it may be. So much so that he doesn't see the portal open behind him as an enormous maw reaches through and bites him in half. An enormous elongated maw, teeth the size of steak knives, rip this man, this devil, into pieces. And equally, gingerly reaches down and picks up the amber, pulling it back to the portal, and the portal closes. Your vision shifts one last time. You find yourself in a completely white void. Nothing reaches for infinity around you except for one thing: a simple wooden plateau with a plinth on it, holding the same amber gemstone you just saw. In the distance, you see a shadow of a creature circling you like a shark circles a seal in the ocean. And it slowly gets closer, tightening its circle, and you hear a voice in your head say, "Trespasser, why are you here?" And it awaits a response.
Is it okay? I come for a power to protect those without it.
Protection. Rich.
Protect.
From one who's already failed the task.
Even through... The past is heavy, but I can carry it forward. Even though he might have failed, together we may succeed now.
He was a friend of mine, even if he didn't know it. The demon irritated me to no end. I intervened in my rage. I can't relinquish what is left of his will to anyone. Can you say those same sweet words in my presence? And that shadow vanishes, but you feel something immense behind you. This weight, nothing is touching you, but you know standing behind you is something gargantuan. Do you turn around?
Yes, I turn around.
You turn around and you are forced to look up. Your neck bends at a near 90-degree angle as you look up at what is easily an enormous creature. Bipedal with digitigrade legs, a long tail, big stocky body, and massive head with an elongated snout, full of razor-sharp, gigantic teeth, clearly the same as the maw you saw in the vision. The body is partially scaled, but mostly covered in beautiful prismatic feathers, whites, reds, blues, covering the entire body. And it looks at you with these two front-facing binocular eyes with vertical and horizontal crossing pupils. As it looks, despite being 80 feet in the air, it is as though it's looking nose to nose with you, directly in your eyes. And he asks again, he goes, "Are you sure you can protect those who need it? What's stopping another failure?"
I will do everything that I can to protect those who need protection. To protect is not a weakness. To fight without purpose is. I have failed in the past, but I will do everything. I will never stop protecting those who need it.
Prove it, then. He whips around, and his tail comes flying at you. Make a strength save to attempt to catch it.
Strength saving throw?
Yes. The tail whips around, and despite this creature being enormous compared to you, somehow the tail doesn't instantly dwarf you and turn you to pulp. You're able to wrap your arms around it, and you feel, if this were really you, every one of your ribs would be broken. You'd be flung 100 feet back into a wall and die instantly. But this drive you have to prove him wrong, to prove that you can protect those who need it, to know that you won't rehash the same mistakes, fill you with this vigor that you haven't felt in so long. Visions of your traveling companion after everything that happened in your home fill you with strength you didn't know you had, and you catch this tail. In immense pain, mind you, but you do catch it. The tail reels back, and once again you're met with these two reptilian eyes. And he says, "Your motivation is admirable, but I can't give him away on a hope. I need a promise. I need a guarantee."
What would you like me to promise?
The giant creature starts to shrink until it is about your height, but you can tell, despite its small size, it has not given away an ounce of power. And it puts its forehead to your forehead and looks you dead in the eyes. And he says, "I am not a god. I'm not a demon. I'm not anything that matters anymore. But I am everywhere. Swear to me. If a failure does arise, you'll have me to answer for."
Wait, I'm sorry, you cut off. Did you say if
sorry.
a failure does arise and
If
then
a
what?
failure does arise, you'll have me to answer to.
I promise I will do everything. And if I do fail to save everyone, then there's nothing left anyway. I'm all yours.
When you say that, the creature almost, you see like the teeth start to, the lips start to smirk back as you acknowledge how much protection is worth. He likes your answer, it would seem. And he goes, "Fine. While I hate this terminology, I suppose this is a deal." And it attempts to reach forward one of its two arms. You notice its two arms are very tiny, vestigial, and very close to its chest, but it is attempting to form some sort of handshake.
I do my best to meet it halfway.
Okay. "So it shall be then, Orc. I'll be watching." And you feel an immense heat overtake your body, like you've been set on fire. And it's painful to a numbing point. So much so you think you're gonna go mad, but this is not real. It is a tip of the hat. It's a show of the cards. It's a warning. It's, I can do this very easily. You don't stock up to me. Never forget what you, like the deal we've made. It is a reminder of potential that could come about upon failure. And then as that white hot pain runs through you, you wake up exactly where you were standing in the room, and you're holding in your hand that same fist-sized, roughly hewn ember. And you look closely now that it's in your hand. Inside that ember is a continually burning blue flame that seemingly burns and flickers with wind that it can't feel and with air that it can't reach. And then I'll add that to your journal. You now have the Gem of the Infernic Protector.
I will try to find it.
It should be in your items. Under your journal tab.
No, you
It's-
have
okay,
it.
I found
It's
it.
on
Yep.
the items.
Excellent.
Okay, it's a weird fucking spot.
I got it. Thank you.
I
On to
think
you.
it was Onyx next, and then
Yeah.
Yep.
yeah.
Ataraxia's last.
Ah,
Yeah.
nerd.
So I need to change the music.
We say
again.
with respect and love.
No, I don't.
Ish.
Womp womp.
Onyx is Hellhound Alley.
Are we playing zombies?
I mean, you don't know what Onyx is gonna play.
Sounds like it.
Listen, I'm just thinking Hellhounds, Black Ops 2.
Who knows? Onyx.
I'll be quiet.
Onyx, you do the same as everyone else. You meditate on this orb, and you feel this energy start to resonate. And then something interrupts it. This orb is attempting to give you some kind of vision. It's attempting to give you some sort of trial that bonds with your soul. It doesn't seem to know that your soul isn't necessarily yours anymore. And this act has upset someone very far below. You feel yourself sucked vertically downwards, incomprehensible speeds of an incomprehensible distance, and you find yourself standing on a battlefield. Black sands and red blood rivers run as far as the eye can see. Enormous armies of red-skinned devils battle against wave after wave of horrid demons. These demons, minotaurs, flying bat creatures, hucking harpoons and spears from the sky, are shot out of the sky by enormous infernal ballistae and catapults. This war is the Blood War. You know that this is the war that's been going on for nearly an eternity. A never-ending hell war where no side can ever truly win, because every demon killed simply respawns in the abyss, and every person that dies with a foul heart goes to hell and becomes a devil. This war can have no winner, can have no conclusion, but people must fight forever, for all eternity. There is no salvation. And you stand on this battlefield and you watch damned souls on both sides rips each other apart, but one stands out before you. A massive woman, 8 or 9 foot tall, red skin, black bat wings, wearing heavy plate armor, and she, unlike everybody else, is smiling. She wields a flail that bursts into blue flames as she whips and rips demons apart at a whim. She runs up and grabs the horns off of a minotaur, rips its head, and hucks the head at such a speed it kills another one 100 feet behind it. And she never stops smiling. She never stops laughing. Until she sees you. She looks over and she meets your gaze, and she sees someone who shouldn't be here, just a random red-skinned tiefling on the battlefield that they have no business being. And she looks at you with a shock, and she looks down at her wrist, and she goes, "Oh shit, my 4 o'clock!" And then she snaps her fingers, and you are teleported into a seemingly mundane office building, and the same woman who you just saw is sitting across from you at a desk, wearing an extremely beautiful business suit, double-breasted, nice tie, very, very expensive. And she's adjusting a pair of glasses she now wears, and she's looking at a book in her hand and goes, "Huh. So someone made an oopsie. How do we get there, didn't we?"
Okay, are you done?
Yes.
Oh, sorry. I greet you, Glacia. I did not know what was going to happen. I'm just trying to gain strength right now.
Ooh, I'm flattered. No, the lady's not here right now. She was gonna handle this. Unfortunately, Daddy Dearest is upset at recent mortal events, as you may be aware. So I've been charged to hold down the fort, as they say, but you know a girl like me can never stay off the battlefield too long. I may have gotten distracted and missed your appointment. That is, of course, my apology. But I think we could still work something out. You see, Asmodeus is very upset. So Glacia is attempting to calm him down before he just kills everybody. So I hope she succeeds, because that could get really bad. But I think maybe, just maybe, you might be able to help her out. Is that something you're willing to hear?
I will do whatever she asks. I've sworn to her.
I see. Well, let's start with the problem, shall we? And then she flicks her wrist, and not dissimilar to Bronte's vision, she now holds the glowing orb in her hand, and she kind of turns it around and looks into it, and she goes, I remember soul weapons. I always hated them. To the idea to take someone who died, and instead of sending them to the afterlife, to forge their very essence into a weapon, to save more people, it's so valorous, so prideful, so annoying. I'd much rather have them on the battlefield. I could always use more meat shields. But, unfortunately, the way these work, it doesn't really pan out. You see, you need to have a soul to bond it with. Unfortunately, you could think of your soul as being on lean. We're letting you use it until you die, but really, you're not the owner. But, with her permission, I was able to tweak it slightly. And then she kind of like crushes it in her hand, and she kind of sprinkles the shards of what was once the orb over the desk, and they coalesce into this red shape. Formless, but vaguely cylindrical. And she goes, yeah, we're willing to make you a special offer. Your oath trial, I guess you could say, is coming up at its end. You need to formally make your decision. Of course, I think we know where you're going, but technically speaking, there's rules to this. We don't want Asmodeus getting even more angry than he is. But we could work something out a little special. You see, all the gods are going to be picking champions. People that they get a little special attention from, they give special jobs to, and the plan is to have those people protect the world from its inevitable destruction. Glacia wants in on it. She wants in on it really bad. But she's technically not a god, so it's not official, nor is it proper. People would probably be pretty upset if they found out. If that seems like an interesting offer to you, you could take it, but you'd need to be willing to keep a secret. Is that something you can do?
I will keep whatever secrets I need to keep to gain the strength I need to serve my master.
An ear-to-ear smile appears on her face, and she goes, that's just the answer I was hoping for. Here's the deal. I'm going to give you something a little better than a soul weapon, but it comes with an extra cost. You already are in your deal, and that's fine. I don't have the authority to change that. That's between you and the mistress. But what I can do is give you more. There are certain people in the world I want not in the world, and the same applies to Glacia. We, at random times, for seemingly no reason, every now and then, might ask you to help handle some of them. Maybe it's make someone disappear, maybe it's steal a particularly valuable item and send it down here. Who knows? But all, of course, with the intention of saving the world. Of course. That, and of course, make the gods owe the Lady One. Who knows what she could get done with that? She runs the mob of hell. Imagine the mob of heaven. Who knows? But no guarantees. That's assuming you don't fail. But you can never fail or succeed if you don't try. And then she reaches a hand over the desk, and she's like, so, how are we feeling?
I reach across to shake her hand and state, I will conquer and do whatever is necessary to serve as I need to.
That smile widens, and she goes, Exactly what I wanted to hear. We'll be in touch. And then she shakes your hand, and a pillar of fire erupts around you. It does not hurt. And then you appear back in the room, exactly where you're standing, in another pillar of fire. And you look down in your hands, and you're holding what was your once greatsword. You watch as it instantaneously rusts in your hands. Like 1,000 years have passed in a second. The only thing that remains is the pommel. From the pommel grows a new sword. Black iron blade, completely ebon. And in the bottom hand, that same pommel, but infinitely more resplendent and stylish. And you have been entrusted the Blade of Bonds. Let's hope you don't regret that one.
Yeah, okay. There's a fat chance of that.
Okay, I got it. I'm going to read it now.
Yeah, read through that. And then the only one left is Ataraxia.
Let's go.
Her song is Jungle Ruins. Okay. Ataraxia. You are unaware of what everyone else has seen in their visions because you're all doing this simultaneously. But what you see when looking at this orb is a sense of familiarity. You're teleported back mentally to a beautiful forest, not dissimilar to the one where your master trained you in so many elements of the nature. But the forest is different. It's beautiful. Too beautiful. Trees 200, 300 feet tall, beautiful red trunks, a babbling brook with 100% pristine water, fish and bugs and everything swimming around. Everything is picturesque. It's like you drew it. It's beautiful. It's a forest you have never seen in your life, but you wish that you were born here, that you could spend your entire days, your entire lifespan walking around and living in this forest. You wish your master could see it. This is beautiful. The only thing breaking up such a picturesque scene is the sound of sobbing. You hear this sobbing echo on over the babble of the brook, and you see 50 or 60 feet in front of you a small elven child crying into their hands, hanging over the river, sobbing incessantly, not moving. What do you do?
I'll approach the child.
You approach the child. Do you say anything? They do not react to your presence.
I'm going to gently say, are you okay?
Okay. The child looks towards you and make a wisdom saving throw. As the child turns their head to you, the child has no face. Instead, they have an absence, a black hole where a face would be that seemingly sinks into eternity. You are filled with an immense terror, but through sheer wisdom and power, you know that this is a vision. You know that this isn't real. It can't be. This is too horrific to see. And you resist the fear. The child continues and says, "Who are you? How'd you get here?"
My name is Ataraxia. I'm not 100% sure how I got here. I'm looking to gain power, and I ended up here.
Power? I had that once.
What do you mean?
It's a long story, but it was my family. They never wanted me. They never let me do what I wanted. Ever since I was born, they knew what I was going to do in life. They said, "We're the best bakers in the whole kingdom. You're going to be a baker just like us." They didn't let me go to school or have friends. Every day we went to the bakery and I learned how to make bread and cake every day. And I would watch outside the window. Everyone else would play and have fun and have pets. But I didn't like baking. I would watch the soldiers every day when they walked outside, they walked past the window to do their patrols to keep everybody safe. And I wanted to do that, but they would never let me. They always told me, no, that's too dangerous. You can't do that. You gotta bake bread. You gotta be the best baker. You gotta keep the family tree. Our family's been bakers forever. You gotta be. That's what they'd say. But I didn't want to be. So I came up with a plan. I would sneak out at night, and I would go over to the barracks, and I would watch the soldiers train. And then I would do the same thing, but I would be hidden in the forest. And I did that for a while. And then I realized that I had a plan. All I had to do was take on the bakery and convince them that I would run it. And then once they went on vacation or took a day off, I would just run away. And they would never be able to find me. And then I could run off and join the military. But when I did it, I didn't realize, I didn't know, no one could have known. I convinced them. I convinced them that I could handle it myself, and that I was the best bread maker around, and that they could take a day trip to the other end of town, maybe go to the spa or see a play. And they left. And as soon as they were out of eye shot, I closed the door behind me and I ran. I had everything packed in my bags, and I ran past the barracks. I ran past the outskirts. I was going to run away, and I was going to go train in the woods, and I was going to gain power, and then I was going to come back, and I would be so strong that they would have to see how good a soldier I would be. That was the plan. I ran and I ran and I ran almost for a full day. And that's when the meteors came. We didn't know what they were. I didn't. I just thought they were rocks. But I saw that they landed where the village was. I thought, this is my chance. The rocks probably broke a bunch of houses and stuff. I could go and help people put out the fires. And I would prove that I don't need to be a bread maker. I could do this. But when I went back to the village, those things had come out of the rocks. Everybody was dead. Bodies everywhere. I couldn't even find my parents. The soldiers were all dead. My bakery was crushed. And I ran to the other end of town. I said, well, they were going to see a play or something. They gotta be over here. They gotta be okay. They're my parents. But they weren't there. Or they were, but they weren't them anymore. I watched them shamble towards me. Black goo was coming out of their eyes and their nose, and they looked like they died a long time ago. I didn't know what to do. They were gonna attack me. I ran and I never looked back. The one thing I remember was the giant floating monster that killed everyone I knew. It looked at me with all those eyes like it knew me, and it smiled as I ran away, and it never chased me, because I think it knew I would never get away. And I don't think I ever did. And the child just seems to kind of lower his gaze to the floor and mope.
Can I sit next to the child?
Of course. It's like a big flat rock. You could sit down.
Okay, I'm gonna sit down next to the child. And place my hand on its hand, his hand, I don't know.
You can't tell. It's androgynous and there's no face.
Okay, and place my hand on its hand to try to console it.
Roll a, say, persuasion. You attempt to console it. You kind of like rub their hand, and they kind of look at you with the empty face, that void, and they go, do you know what it's like to have to go against your family and only to realize that you believe it, that you don't have them anymore? I don't know how I'm supposed to feel.
Yes, I do know what it's like. I know exactly what it's like. And it's not an easy thing to do. But it is possible to move on, I guess.
How do I do that?
I don't know. I really don't. Not sure that I have fully escaped it myself. As much as I think I get farther away from the issue, it's never seems to fully go away. But who knows? I still have lots of life to live, hopefully.
That sounds nice. I hope maybe one day I could do that. Do you think maybe I could get to where you are and maybe further?
Maybe one day.
Can I ask you something?
Well, of course.
What do you see? Roll another wisdom save. The giant void face, a line appears in the middle, and it opens, and it reveals a giant, think like 8-inch wide eyeball that is now looking into your soul. Natural 20. Okay. With a 24, once again, you are not scared of anything. In fact, you see through the illusion of what is a giant, scary eyeball. And you see through, and you see past the void, past everything. And you see the image of a crying little elven boy, maybe like 11 years old. And you see them sobbing just perpetually. Every time they close their eyes, they're tormented by decisions that they made that they regret. Whether it be not dying with their family or leaving in the first place or thinking that maybe if they were there when it happened, they would have made a difference. It's a million questions all flying around at once. Desperately reaching out, hoping for someone to take their hand, to guide them to a point where maybe it doesn't hurt as much as it does right now.
Sorry, I'd just like to clarify. The last thing the boy said to me was like he asked what I see, right?
He asked what you see, and then he opened the eye, which was the save, and then you passed the save. And what you saw was what I just described. The little crying elven boy, yada yada.
Okay, so I'm gonna tell him I see a young boy, elven, that's clearly struggling and needs help.
He opens his arms as though to ask for like a hug, and he says, "Can you be the one to do it?"
I definitely can't say no.
You say that, or are you saying that to me?
No, that's just me.
Okay.
I'm gonna hug him, I guess.
Okay,
And
you
hopefully I
hug
don't
him.
need to save him.
Yeah, you hug him, and you watch as like his body starts to like disincorporate into like a almost like a smell. He's still tactile. You could feel him, but it's like wispy because it's a memory of a hug. And then as you hug, you kind of feel like as you make significant physical contact with him, you start to get flashes of his memories that he's suffering with. His family shambling towards him, running in fear, tricking them and leaving the bakery. That floating monster he talked about. And that image of the floating monster is almost burned into his soul. Like it's the last thing he saw before he died, but he just doesn't realize it. And it has left a permanent imprint on him. And as you kind of coax him through the pain, that imprint becomes less of a scar and more of a lesson. And that the hug, the forest around you, the feeling of the sounds of chirping and the feeling of warm stone and grass and the babbling of a brook, and it all starts to kind of fade out, including him. Everything fades out, and you wake up sitting in the dungeon where you were. In your hands, you're no longer holding the orb. You're holding a crown more specifically a tiara, an elven tiara. The tiara fits perfectly on your head, and it has several empty gemstone slots on it, except for 3, which are filled. And you get the Crown of Extermination.
Wow.
And you could read that.
Where do I find it?
If you go to your journal, you should see it.
Okay, I found it.
Excellent. Please someone else talk. My throat is killing me. Please roleplay.
Just to clarify,
Hi.
everybody is done now with
You're still
trial.
muted.
Yes.
I think that was 6. I think that was 6 visions. I'm starting to lose my. I'm starting to lose.
Yes,
it
that
here.
was the last one.
Hey, Poppy,
Yeah.
I must say, your child voice was hands down my favorite.
I don't know if that's a compliment or an insult.
Take it as you will. Listen, this is your trial.
Yeah.
You
it's-
do with that info what you will.
It feels more like a marathon.
No, those were really great.
I was really hoping
Yes.
like 3 of you would do it, and the other 3 would wait and see what happens, and then maybe I could split it between sessions. No, you all did it.
No, we all did it.
Well,
After we started, I was
Let's
like,
try.
I was so like concerned.
maybe we shouldn't have
about-
done it all at once.
It's okay.
it's okay. I got it handled. That's what the Word doc was for. I had them all. Well, to be
I
fair,
will-
Had them already.
I had 2 sentences for each of you. The rest was improv.
To be fair, that was 0.
So valid. That's crazy. Well, what I was gonna say was that as everyone comes out of it, Sai is just literally laying on the ground, like on her back, just like flat out.
Sai, what happened?
Lots of things, my guy. Lots of things.
Are you okay? You seem
Out of it.
Oh, just electrocuted, set on fire, poisoned.
But we couldn't do that to Ryzen or Ryzen.
You know what?
Good point. Good point. Good point.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
No, she's completely
Impulse
out of
one.
it. So
I'm sorry. Impulse 1. I had to.
yeah, but no, she's.
Onyx is gonna pull Cole away.
Sidebar.
Sidebar.
And have a sidebar with him. And Onyx is going to explain to Cole exactly what oh my god, these stupid freaking boxes.
Ignore the boxes.
Oh, wait, go. The handy thing. The handy. No?
Is everyone else all
Finish it.
right?
I don't
Oh,
feel
actually,
any different, to be
Yeah,
honest.
I think everyone rolled good enough to not take damage, but you.
Oh, great. Love that for you guys. I'm just gonna
I didn't even have to
roll.
Why
roll.
don't you just rest up a little
you guys
bit
had
more
to roll.
by the fire?
Okay, but like you also see that there is a pile of vomit next to her. I will say that.
So
Okay, we can go back.
okay, so Onyx and Cole exchanged exactly what happened during their vision. And their weapon.
I will
Thingamabob.
also say everybody in the group, you would see the weapons, right? It's like even if you don't know what they do or their names, it's obvious that like Adarach is now wearing a crown. Brontes is holding like a giant half staff. Cole's wearing
But
a
is
ring
Cole's
he wasn't
obvious?
wearing. Well, it's a ring you weren't wearing before. You guys are all fairly perceptive people. You have a passive perception of over like 12, all of you. So you'd see it. Whether or not you care is different. It's the character decision. But everything is fairly visible. You notice soot around where Onyx was standing, implying there was some sort of fire. You don't know what that's about.
And Ataraxia wipes a tear from her face as she stands up from her meditating position.
Sai has yet to move.
One hell of a
I'm gonna
Tuesday,
get
huh, guys?
Sai away from the vomit and bring them close to the fire.
It's a
Okay,
good
this-
thing that
I
what's his
have
name
a
healed us before that
suggestion.
happened.
We have many of magical people, it seems.
Oh, I'm
Can
moving,
somebody
sorry.
heal Sai?
I cannot.
I do not have a healing spell at all.
Onyx, I
Great,
think you can. Onyx.
Anorexia. Can you heal Psy?
I can.
It's fine, guys. I'm totally good. I'm perfect, actually.
I can.
That's
Yeah,
Tell
that's
my
what the puke
therapist.
says. Right?
That's not
I-
puke. That's just collateral.
Collateral from what?
It's clear she has no idea what she's saying.
Yeah, she's a little loopy.
You're very disoriented.
She's been through
Are you drunk?
a lot.
Ophis, can I cast a
I'm
healing word
fine.
on Sai?
Yep, just I believe it's 1d4 plus your wisdom, so it should be like 1d4 plus 2. Or you could click it and I think it'll roll it.
I'm casting at a level 1.
Yep, so it'd be 1d4. Yeah, level 1.
Sorry, it
Coming off
literally
at
asked
20.
me what
Oh,
level
yeah.
I was.
Yeah, because you can upcast it to do more healing. But yeah, so Sai, you heal 4 hit points.
Coming off of 20, Anorexia. Come on.
What is that?
Unimportant.
Okay, because I was very confused.
I will also say, for Sai, if you want, you're gonna get like enough. Yours was first, so I would say you're still gonna get like a good chunk of short rest. I'll say if you want to roll 1 hit dice for healing, because you're gonna get more rest, quote unquote, because yours was first. I'll allow it.
Technically, wouldn't these have all been
They were all
Simultaneous.
simultaneous, but I also feel bad that she's the only one who got her ass beat by visions.
What the
Oh,
but
but when
I
Onyx
got
and
my
Cole
ass-
did it,
I got my ass
we
beat.
gotta earn our
I'm
health back.
emotionally
What kind of
distraught.
bullshit is this?
Why don't you just ask Dragon God to heal you again? Oh wait, he's gone.
Because he's fucking gone. I already asked him. I was smart.
You already got 1 free heal. Now the DM's
The
making us
thing
work for it.
happened before.
Hey, the only reason I asked is because he healed the. It was visible.
Yeah, dude, he was totally. Yeah, he could heal all of you again if he wanted to. If he was
Question:
here.
did that restore my spell slots before, or just my health?
No, all your hit. He asked for his hit point, like their health. So all your hit points were maxed out. You have not rested, so you don't get your spell slots back. That takes 8
Well, we
hours
just
of
short
sleep.
rested. Technically, we just short rested.
Yeah, but you
Are you
paladins
still
don't get.
holding Sai?
Paladins don't get spells on
Felix?
short rest. They only get it on long rest.
What?
Are you still holding Sai? Because
Well, I put you
Don't
down
I
near
get one
fire
back if
and
I
away
use them?
from your puke.
You can use arcane recovery if you want.
So do we want to try to wake up this girl that's just knocked fuck out in the corner?
Probably should.
I'm staying here. You guys can do that.
Anybody got like a
I-
bucket of water we could throw on this little?
Let's
girl?
go get some.
I hate to be that guy, but can we call it?
Oh, what time is it?
Yeah, it is.
It's 11:30 and I have to wake
Oh.
up
Yeah.
at 3.
Oops.
So do I. I don't have to wake up that early, but I have to wake up early.
Okay, in that case, what we'll say is after a series of some fun, some traumatic visions, the party gathers around the still unidentified unconscious girl and attempts to ascertain their condition, full of many, many questions about what the fuck just happened. Until
Beautiful.
next time.